All right, welcome back. In case you're just joining us, Money Line with Nancy T is joining me right now as my guest. SHEDRACH MADILION, the Managing Director of Safari 54. Welcome to you. Thanks for joining us. Compliments of the season. How are you doing?
I'm just standing in there, not doing great as we're supposed to do. You know, you can't get a man's leg tied with a rope and you expect him to run. We are not being fair to that man, and that's what has happened to Nigerian farmers, especially for this year farming season. The Nigerian farmers have not had it this rough. All our food points in Nigeria have been affected as a result of insecurity. Over 11 local governments in Benue State have been overtaken by the herdsmen, farmers issues. The last findings we took between Utonkom, Ihamufu, Agadigbo, part of Otrukpo, Vandekere, Takum, the border between Benue State and Taraba. We found out that over 47,820 farmers never participated in any of the agricultural activities for 2016-2017 active year. That same thing stretches to Adamawa, our home for livestock, rice, and sweet potatoes. Is ongoing. The Vice President just took a trip to the place. Now, the biggest person being affected by these circumstances is the farmer. Let it be the livestock farmer or let it be the crop farmer. In Kaduna, there is no single day 2 to 3 people are not being kidnapped in their farms, be it Buruku, is ongoing, be it Buruku, be it Alawa, be it Chukum, be it Brinengwari, or be it Kaduna Maru, Kaduna Abuja Express Road. Now, it got to a point where families have to raise 15,000 naira to secure their loved ones being kidnapped in the farm.
15,000
naira. Now, we are being charged based on the size of what you have in your farm.
So what's the state government doing about it? The government of
Nancy will come to that, because I was told that the responsibility of government to we the citizens is the protection of life and property. But I was now beginning to ask whether if the definition has a different definition in Nigeria, because today we've not yet seen nothing. Nigerians are crying that the price of food is up. But why won't the price of food up? One commodity alone called rice. We brandishes figures that we've done very well in rice, but that is not true. The entire whole of Africa needs 11.8 million metric tons of rice. Nigeria alone consumes 7.8 million metric tons of rice. These statistics is 2012-2013. Now, every single day, Nigeria consumes 1 billion naira worth of rice.
But that seems to have changed. No, that seems to have changed, because that was a statistic we had earlier before states like Ebonyi State, Kebbi State, and Co. are into the production of rice.
Their contribution to our economy is not as being put in place by the government. Ebonyi State has had 247 rice blending machine far back as in the 80s and 90s. But the problem is paddy. The problem is the technology to make your rice acceptable by Nigerian wives and our sisters. The stoning, using technology to enhance your productivity. Our farmers, as I speak with you, are still hovering between 3 to 5 metric tons per hectare. Post-harvest losses will take about 2 metric tons in a hectare.
Okay, sorry, just let me halt you a bit. Before, we used to harvest like 1.52 million metric tons per hectare.
No, that is the total number of number of rice produced in this country, contributing to what we bring out here, and
Yeah.
that comes in from the 3 cardinal points in
Yeah,
Nigeria.
so what is it right now?
Now we're at about 2.2 metric ton.
Okay, you know why I'm asking this
Yes.
question? Because I had an interview with the central bank
Yes.
governor. That was 3 weeks ago.
Under the Anchor Brewers
Was
program.
three weeks ago.
Yes.
He did tell me that we used to have about 2 million metric tons, but because of this Anchor Brewers program
Yes.
now, it has expanded to about 8 to 10, approaching 10 million
far
metric
from
tons.
no, far from it. The very moment we get to this level, that means Africa, we should be selling rice to Africa. Rice is
Are you
a
saying
tedious.
that, no, hold on,
Yes,
Mr. Marion. Are you saying that we are not seeing enough rice production? Or we are seeing enough rice production, but a lot of smuggling is still going on in terms of bringing in parboiled rice?
Now,
Because there are two different arguments.
There are three.
And
There are
three
three
different
there are
agreements,
three,
in fact.
yeah, there are three. There are three points that could be put on the table, Nancy. Now, you cannot compare the use when you are using keke napep to go to Mahia from Abuja. That cannot give you the same speed and time and comfort of using a Mercedes, or you are driving maybe yes, the Toyotas and all that there. Now, our farmers are still using broadcasting method, using sickles to harvest rice. We do not have functional 4,000 tractors in the entire whole of Nigeria. We still have to use hoe to turn our rice.
Are you sure we
Yes,
don't have 4,000?
No.
I've heard the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development say that we have about 15,000 tractors in the whole of the country.
Functional
and I was even quarreling with that 15,000
No,
tractors.
I say functional 4,000 tractors are not in this country. Now, no tractors can be flown into Nigeria. They cannot be smuggled into Nigeria. Every number of tractors being brought into this country will be cross-checked by what has been cleared through the wharf, what the Form M that was filled by the CBN in bringing them. Is it Mas Ferguson? Is it Mahirindra? Is it New Holland? You must know where these things are coming here. Today, with the digital worlds, you don't just tell us things that are not true. Nigerians do not have functional 4,000 tractors. Now, as I speak with you, what has brought in the program of Anchor Brewers program a failure, by my own opinion, is that the man in Kebbi, Jega, Aleru, up to Sokoto, is been using hoe to turn the rice. We're still hovering between 2.3 million metric tons of rice per hectare. We had rice blast this year. Those that were giving money, those that were the Anchor Brewers programs, the banker do not know agricultural timing. The time they disbursed the money to the farmers, seasons were off. So you had the money disbursed out is not in tandem with what came out of the farm.
Mr. Madion, are you not also being unfair with your analysis this morning? Because I also do know that the Anchor Brewers program is not Uhuru yet. I would not say it's 100% success. It's a journey, it's not yet a destination. We are still getting there. At least now we are into rice production. As I speak right now, I have local rice in my house. Bags, looking better than it used to be before. Bagged, well bagged. So it's better than before.
No,
Would you agree to that?
No. I always say to this that notions don't play politics with food. You can play your politics with any other things, but not with food, not with health, not with your housing. It's always very important for us to say it as it is. Now, I'm a child that is born in the 70s, so I know where we are, where we used to be, and where we are today. Nancy, there are, out of the 37 states in this country, 21 will grow rice commercially. Now, like I said to you, I was bringing in the analysis of going to Mahia with keke napep, or going to Mahia with bicycle, and going to Mahia with a Mercedes-Benz. We are going to the same destination, but let's look at the time, energy, exhausted with the same person going to that same destination here. As I speak with you, we do a lot of ceremonial activities to our food productions here. Carrying cameras to see where people are wearing agbada, just like what I'm wearing here, and be doing seedlings here. It can be compared with what happens in Thailand, Cambodia, and the rest people here. If you alone is consuming 7.5 million metric tons of rice, and we are celebrating 2 million to 1.8 million metric tons of rice, over 200 million people, then that is a complete joke. Why is the rice importation still, rice smuggling still traveling in Nigeria? The cost of producing 100 kg of paddy comes to 28,342,000 naira.
342 naira.
Yeah, 28,342,000 naira if you are doing it in Kebbi. It comes to 29,418,000 naira if you are doing it in Sokoto. Now it becomes higher in Petege and in Burugu, while access roads, transportation of the herbicide, insecticides, and input to it here. As I speak with you, listen, statistics of this should have been come out from the number of station farmers. Did the farmers just produce this? Who collected these figures that is being said to you by CBN? CBN today are using EFCC and other agencies to try to see how to look at their money, to collect their money from the states. You see, it's only when we tell ourselves the truth that what we've done has not worked, that we can now bring in professionals, know where we had our pitfalls, and then we move on from that place. Like I said, nations don't play politics.
Okay, I want to
with
ask
their
you this
food
question.
Here. Please do ask me.
How much was a bag of rice? You seem to be very angry this morning.
Yes, because you see, being in Abuja is entirely different from living in Nuboka, or you are staying in Amiri, or you are staying in Inkerefi. Look at the faces of Nigerians. No Nigerian is smiling. Nigerians are not smiling.
How much was a bag of rice last year?
If you are buying, if you are picking up local rice from Abakaliki, comes in between a neighborhood of between 13,800 naira. If you are buying it in the Afroeke, you understand me, or the Ivo market, or the Emene Ekebunagu market, which is not too far from the point of or Equal price comes at about 11,800 naira to 12,000 naira.
How much is it?
A year. But we're looking at between 22,000, 18,000.
You know
yes.
why I'm saying so? Last year, a bag of rice was around 25, 26, 27,000
yes.
naira. But now a bag of rice is a bit cheaper than what it used to be.
At what cost?
At about 13, 14,000 right now. Because even last year, was it last year we also had the tomato
glove,
isn't it? That we did not see a basket of tomato was going as far as 22,500, 3,000 naira. But a basket of tomato, I was in the market on Saturday and I bought tomatoes, and I can tell, at least in Abuja, tomatoes is 1,000 naira.
So let me say this.
So I want to ask, one of the respondents, one of those that were interviewed on the street, did say that we have enough goods but no buyers. That. Yes, you heard him say that, isn't it? Yeah.
But,
that
normally,
have
but I'm not an economist. Yeah, the price, once you have a good bumper harvest, prices are supposed to drop.
Yes.
In buying, the cost of production of rice in Cambodia comes to 4,340 naira for a 50 kg bag of rice. That's the cost of doing rice over there. The rice that is being smuggled into Nigeria are left in silo, use them to raise money from the hedging fund, and they then support their farmers. And then this rice comes back here to you as smuggled rice until there is technology attached to rice production, until we begin to do rice 3 seasons in a year, not 1 season, dependence on rain-fed agriculture. Then we'll now begin to look at Fadama. Above all, replace our aging farmers with young farmers who will add technology to it, who will bring in tenacity, who will bring in passion to it here. Not where government will have to defend themselves. It's the same government that disburses the funds. It's the same government that comes out with the figures of what has done. As I speak with you today, Nigerians are going through, don't forget that the rice value chain in Nigeria has not been met. In Bauchi, the man does not eat rice the way the man in Neboi eats his rice. Rice are used for wena. Rice are used in making the rice pudding. Rice are used for several things I talk about. It's one of our staple food here. What I'm saying to you is, now that NISA has come into, as now fully integrated here, NISA with NAIC can actually get this whole thing right. And also getting private sector and those who can be sued, those who can also sue. CBN must now have a proper penalty for those in the agri-dex in timing to disburse, when to disburse, then what is the relationship between your soil, your input, and then your output. Agriculture is science. It is not politics.
Okay. We seem to be dwelling so much on rice, and I can.
No, just one here, Nancy. There is none of our food that we've made in Nigeria. Nigeria we need 33,000 metric tons of tubers, yam. Now, we have not yet developed any technology to make yam heaps. Yams are still done with the hull that weighs about 15 kg to 25 kg. If you do yam for a year and you come out, you look like a 60-year-old man, even when you're at 44, 42. It's not a joke. The same thing that has to do with rice. Now, when I'm talking about technology into agriculture, that's why our youth are not interested. A boy who's using an Android phone, who understands how agriculture is done in I don't want to mention South Africa, Botswana, Zimbabwe. You can't come in and tell him to use cutlass here to do weeding. You have, the ratio is 215 farmers to one extension officer. It's poor. It's unheard of anywhere in the world. Our livestock were not meeting to the point here. We still have to eat ice fish being brought to us from other parts, Norway and the rest here, for us to have good protein in our food here. How much is a bag of beans today? Maybe this studio should, Nigerians should hear today that 46% of the beans we consume in Nigeria come from Burkina Faso and the rest part of our neighbors, Niger and Chad. Since the problem of Boko Haram, our hub for beans is Potiskum, Unguru, down to Biu, and some part of Marite and Grizawa. But today, because of this insurgency, we've not been producing beans. And yet somebody is saying that we're doing quite well here. We're the biggest and highly most populated nation in the entire whole of this continent. So if anything goes wrong with the way and manner we're going about it here, listen, forget the fact. You see, because maize came out, Nigeria said we're out of recession.
Because of what?
Maize was, yes, when maize came out of the street, when maize came, no, I will tell you, when maize came out of the, when maize started being harvested here, we call it mouth organ. If you are in Lekki, once you have neighborhood of 100 or 150, you do it, that's what we call combined honor. The maize with coconut here. Once you take it, you take half a liter of water. You feel okay. You're okay. Well, the people they complain reduce. They say we're out of recession. What is the recession out of it here?
Mr. MADILION, just hold on. I guess perhaps you are just taking this as a joke. Is it that because of maize production that the economy now came out of recession?
No, when people started eating fresh corn and the roasted ones,
so does that mean that corn brought us out of recession? That's what you're saying.
It just gave us a false hope.
You are not saying that perhaps the price of oil increased a bit, then there was relative peace in the Niger Delta. We were able to produce more than 700, 800,000 barrels a day, which we used to produce, and all of that. Aren't you being a bit cynical?
You see, when nations are not driven by knowledge economy, and when nations are not saying this is where we have policies, this is how we put in our policies to put food on the tables of the country. Listen, a nation that do not have the capacity to feed its citizens is not worthy of calling himself a nation. And that's the status as it is here. Okay,
just keep sending your comments. I've been seeing quite a lot, but let me take this from Mr. Raymond on Twitter. Whatever you hear from government officials are propaganda. The situation in reality is different. Meanwhile, Dozen said, let's refresh our memory. 25 kg of rice last year was 23K. This year, 13K. That brings me, of course, I asked you the question of what one of our respondents said earlier, which is enough food, but not enough buyers. Is it that there's so much food now, but we're not seeing enough buyers, as it were. All right, keep sending your messages. Tweet me, Nancy Ilo, and tweet the program Moneyline AIT. SHEDRACH Madion, the MD at Safari 54, is still with me, and we're looking at the prices of food. Now, you've said quite a whole lot. From what you said, I can actually also deduce that you're not satisfied with the efforts of government so far in boosting agricultural production. And we talk also so much of crop production. You've also mentioned livestock.
And answer, I would like to just take a small second to run Nigerians on how food comes out and how we do it. This country is so blessed that the possibility of one community, one product is being very, very possible. As I speak with you today, you can't do poultry without soya.
Soya beans.
Soya, yes, soya. Now, we in the field, what is our calling is debt. We're highly indebted to private sector people. You can't do lending, you can't do agricultural production, agricultural lending at 27% and all that there. It's not yet been structured. The CBN, as I speak with you, this is a well-watched show. You look at and find out how many successful farms today are doing very well. How many successful farms are doing very well? When we said things were this at this cost last year and what it is, it should be far much better than it is here. Are you aware that we still have, out of the 137 porous borders in northern Nigeria, that we still bring in imported rice into, imported rice still comes in here. Maize, as I speak with you.
But would you also say that imported rice smuggling has reduced? Has it reduced?
Yes, I think. Yes. I don't know to what level.
But has it reduced?
Yes, I think
so.
But
it may not have reduced drastically, but it has reduced.
Yes.
At least now you can go to the market.
But
you can see Nigerian, made in Nigeria food products.
We have always had it. Abakaliki rice has been existing. Without Abakaliki rice
yes, Abakaliki rice has been existing.
Our father has been
that there is a new vibe. There is a new vibe. And getting the processing, branding, and everything right. I'm always happy when I go into supermarkets and I see made in Nigeria goods, as it were. You know, and I patronize those goods.
Nancy, like I said, playing politics with food. Is not a good thing at all. And Plateau State, Bokos, Miango are the biggest producers of Irish potatoes. The potatoes we've been using, the seed has been recycled since 1976, 1974.
For the Irish potatoes?
For the Irish potatoes. Now, what is the research institutions? Just Brazil here. We have the same history with these people here. Have 12,000 research personnel only on rice. Have 6,000 research personnel only on fruits. You cannot be doing things the same way and expect new result. Then you come out and tell people you have a new result. The truth of the matter is, let us be out of this merriment and a celebration out of it here. Realities will dawn on us by January. You call me back in this same studio for us to review back what is the cost of yam now, what is the cost of rice, school fees is now being paid.
So are you forecasting? Are you forecasting? Now, let me take you right now.
Yes, of course.
Are you forecasting that by January prices of food will go
definitely here? Don't forget that because most farmers do not have preservative methods, we don't have silos. Most farmers today. There are a lot of losses.
Is it that we don't have silos? Or there are some silos, but they are empty?
We have 186 silos across the countries. The commodity exchange supposed to mop up from farmers and put them back in these silos here.
Commodity exchange is trying to
now, this little shower that took place today, I was meant to understand that is tended to Abaji, some part of Awotaba Alefi, and all that here, and Nasarawa. Farmers who do not have places, warehouse to put them, there are aflatoxin that will be found into their maize or grains that is being left outside. No farmer will want to believe that at the middle week of 20th of December that there will be rainfall. So these are the things I am saying to you. If the extension officers is working, about 2 or 3 days ago, would have been able to tweet or send a text, take your grains inside the house because we're expecting some
rain.
Yes, that is how it is done in other places here. Not for you to tie a man's foot, you tie his legs, and you expect him to run. No hand, you can't clap with one hand. You need, the government need to come up with a good policy. The private sector is here, then you both, but we're being seen as competitors.
Okay. Let me halt you there. Johnson Tobiah Isaiah says it's true we need modern technology to enhance our Greek productivity. I think I agree with you. This last point which you made, for example, no one knew that it would even rain. Anyway, perhaps the meteorological agency knows, but for some of us who were caught up yesterday, I was actually surprised that it rained in Abuja last night. So for farmers, for example, that have dried their products outside, that would have actually hampered them. All right, Mark says, Nancy, it's better I believe your guests than Lai Muhammad and co in Buhari's government. All right, let's take other comments. Tokba says, your guest should resume as Minister for Agriculture. Now, he's a practical person. People are actually saying you should be Minister of Agriculture. Are you going to go into politics?
No.
That brings me to the question of, with this knowledge that you have you had engagement with the government, be it the Ministry of Agriculture and all of that, on some of these concerns that you've been echoing?
Yes, I do a lot of letter writings, which I don't think that crosses the doorsteps of the ministry here.
It doesn't.
I don't. It doesn't cross here. And then, if you plant okra in the farm, if the okra does not meet the new yam, it will meet the amala. The amala is the dry one. Yeah. So no matter how it is, the destination of the okra is the pot. So whatever anything that you are saying, that if whether today has been ignored or today has been accepted, what happens is that we must always see it. One thing that nations can never go shy away from. Now you're excited about tomatoes. There are no tomato puree companies here. The romantic economists tell you that it is cheaper.
The romantic
economists here, that is cheaper to bring in.
But we have a few puree tomato, like Erisco is one.
Yeah, he's doing that. Is just one.
Yes.
200
yes.
wants to, but it's not working. What I'm saying to you is that Niger State is 10% of the entire whole landmass of this country, twice the size of France, 1.5 the size of Netherlands. But if we go back to statistics and see what these countries are chunking out in terms of vegetable. Now, I keep on talking about what I call one community. I don't want to come in here and just talk about blames, but can we look at solutions, Nancy?
Very quickly, because we have to go.
Now, if we look at solutions here, we have what we call one community, one product. And please, let there be any budget being appropriate to the Ministry of Agri anymore, because our money goes into buying of Land Cruisers, Jeeps, and then the organized workshop that is not in any way tailored to bringing in food production here. Rather, let's go back to what Sardauna, Opera, the Bomedia, the Awo were doing here. It's only in Nigeria that I see budget have been laid out without talking about revenue. In budget, I'm not an economist, but in budget you must discuss your revenue. So, but we're looking about oil projection. I want to hear a budget that said this year we're going to sell Sensuka for 1 billion naira from OP, Iharumoni, or Ubolafo. The man in Agay, Lepai, Bida will be doing yam for 250,000 metric ton this year here. The cocoa farmer, what are you bringing to the plan? That is what is budget in this place here. But not for you to come in, you do budget. You are not in any way telling us what is your
okay, I think I have to halt you at this point. Very quickly, Ibrahim says, I quite agree with Mr. Shedrack. What an analysis. He said exactly what is on ground. Corral says on point, Nigeria ain't a nation, just a country fought by British imperialism. Is that true? Tokba lastly says, I know that Nigeria is full of geniuses who are neglected by politicians. We need people like your guest everywhere of our lives. Many thanks. I can see you are not as happy. You're not happy this morning. But with all of that, I still wish you Happy holiday, compliments of the season, and Merry Christmas. Please smile for me.
Thank you.
Smile for me. Aren't you selling some things from your farm?
Well, we're selling, but the prices, the capacity for people to buy is not there. But then the banks are not holding the interest we're owing. They are still charging you. They are charging us and all that. There. If you don't see me here next year, well, I don't know where I will be because they've been writing me letter to bring their funds back to them.
Hoping not EFCC.
Oh, well, any of them here, they could use anyone to recover their money.
All right, many thanks for coming on the show. Just put a smile on your face. Like Magbaja said, put a smile on your face.